Hi, this is Natasha Gordon-Chipembere, and I'm saying hello from Costa Rica. Today I've been really thinking about the idea of rest as resistance. And in many ways, when I rest, what I like to do is read. And I have been sharing excerpts of things that I love, but today I really want to sort of take a risk and actually share my own writing from my manuscript, Finding La Negrita. It is a historical fiction novel of 17th century slavery and freedom in colonial Costa Rica. And I wanted to read a part, the first time meeting of two characters who eventually become lovers. And it is a character named Dakarai, and he's one of the protagonists. And he's free. He's a free black man in colonial Cartago. And Michaela, who is his love interest, and she is a slave of the wealthiest Spaniard family in Costa Rica. And so, take a listen. Without a knife to cut into the circular bread, Michaela expertly pulled a small slice out with her fingers and handed it to Dakarai. As their hands brushed, she gave him a knowing, familiar look. They had perfected their communication with the music and the touch of their skins. Dakarai, with the barest nod of thanks, took the bread and ate in silence as she returned to stand near the door. They had lain together occasionally over the last year. To the Africans in Cartago town and La Gotera, the man everyone knew as Juan Carlos the carpenter was respected by all and completely unattainable to the women who admired his handsomeness. To have finally crossed into an intimacy with this man, once unreachable, was almost unfathomable to Michaela. To call him his true name of Dakarai, rather than his Spanish name of Juan Carlos, filled with the haunting memories of his enslavement, was indeed a gift. As a slave for Doña Francesca, she was rarely allowed out of her sight. Yet one day, when Michaela was sent to offer Padre fresh flowers for the altar from Doña Francesca's garden, she had seen Dakarai and smiled. She smiled because it was the first time in months that she had been able to walk alone to the church without Doña Francesca lamenting about her perceived inattentiveness. So Michaela strolled with her basket of flowers and enjoyed the hot sun on her head and the grinding rhythm of the stones under her light leather sandals, as she experienced a moment of timelessness. She did not even try to pretend that this was a life that she could have. But in that exact moment, when she made eye contact with Dakarai as he was crossing the plaza, she had smiled with pure joy, one that made her beauty radiate. And he stopped and smiled back. Shocked, Michaela turned her head as she felt his look sting the blood inside her body. She ducked into the church, murmuring a greeting to Padre and handing him the flowers, while trying to ease the pace of her heart. Padre dismissed her with a disinterested blessing, distracted by the other parishioners coming for confession. With a mumbled directive to tell her mistress many thanks, Padre turned quickly and forgot Michaela's presence. Used to sliding into the shadows, Michaela quietly left the coolness of the church, all the while thinking of Dakarai. In those days, she too called him Juan Carlos. She did not expect that he would be waiting for her to emerge from the church. He stood by a tree in the plaza, shaded and alone. Nodding his head, he beckoned her to approach. Gazing around swiftly to see who was about, Michaela walked swiftly across the plaza to stand abruptly in front of him. As she drew up to him, his height and frame seemed imposing. She had never been this close to a free black man before. She was only used to the other black male slaves when they worked together. She smelled a bit of lemongrass on him as she inhaled deeply. Like many of the other women who whispered while working on the haciendas of the Spaniards, Michaela had also dreamed about being enfolded in the arms of this beautiful man. He looked her squarely in the eyes. Michaela, my sister, I am sorry for disturbing your errand, as I know the ways of Doña Francesca. You do not own your time. However, grant me a minute. There is something I would like to say. Dakarai leaned into Michaela, speaking softly so that she could hear. Michaela stood there, a grown woman with lovely chocolate skin, tinged with red from her walk in the day's sun. She tucked her head into her chest, trying to still her pounding heart, and then slowly looked up again into his eyes. You may speak freely, Juan Carlos. I can tell Doña Francesca that Padre was engaged, and I had to wait to give him her gift of flowers. I have a few minutes to spare, Michaela whispered. Please call me Dakarai, which is my true name. Juan Carlos is the slave name I was forced to carry, and the Pañas are too unimaginative to believe I had a life, a name, and a history before I was their property. But let me be straight with you so that you see and hear me for who I am. I speak with the deepest respect for you. I am a man who has dedicated a lifetime to the mother of my daughter. She is now gone 14 years, and during that time I have been both a slave and a free man. I work and raise my daughter and have not thought too much of what the arms of a beautiful woman would feel like after all this time. Today, in seeing you, I have remembered what it means to be held and loved by a woman, and my need is now great. I would like to see you, Michaela. I understand what I am asking is a dangerous thing. I cannot offer you freedom, marriage, or a home. However, I can give of myself freely if you will have me. Dakarai said this and pulled back slowly, shadowed by the tree which shaded them from the eyes of onlookers. Michaela felt words bubbling over onto her tongue and could not find the right amount of air to say all that she wanted. She looked into his face and saw the lines of his story carved along his eyes. He was a beautiful specimen of a man, all muscle and pull, deeply brown with a short afro and angel-deep eyes. She caught laughter in them as his mouth curled into a smile as she blushed, letting her know that he enjoyed her admiration of his strong, handsome body. She dared not look below his broad chest to his tapered waist and grounding legs, firmly planted in the earth and telling her that she was safe. Trying to gain control of the color of her cheeks, all Michaela managed to get out was, I will come late tomorrow night to your home in La Gotera. With those words and a smile, she turned quickly and ran towards Doña Francesca's house, her heart slamming against her chest with Dakarai's ponderous offer. She also felt fearful of Doña Francesca's wrath if anyone had seen her chatting with him under the tree by the plaza. Thank you.